Our first story of the evening is by E. Grant 03. It's 11 days old and it's titled Bully Me Into Selling You My Car? You Pissed Off the Wrong Mama Bear. TLDR at the bottom. Sorry in advance for how long it is and its spelling issues. It's a good story though. So, about 8 years ago, I'm selling a used car. Engine light was on, the AC needed recharging, and the fuel pump or something was out. I go to my local, trusted sales site. The ad goes up with a few pictures and the words, I work weird hours, so I might not be able to accept a phone call. Please only text me. Yay to working swings and midnights, right? I was actually college classes, but it's the same thing for me. So a few days in, I get a pretty standard text. Hi, I'm Matt. Is your car still for sale? Matt isn't his real name, but you get the idea. So text back that it is. A few standard texts about price. Why is the engine light on? Who did you get the quote from? I listed an approximate price on the repairs as quoted from my trusted mechanic, and whatnot go back and forth. The next day, I get a text from him saying, Are you going to take all your shit out of the car before you sell it to me, or is that my job? Unwarranted hostility? Really? WTF, man. He's not the only interested party, so I texted him back, I'm not selling you the car, so don't worry about it. I never said I would sell it to him. He never asked if he was the only interested party, and others were arranging test drives already. I didn't need him and his less than full price, partial commitment, and the stuff he was complaining about is 3 textbooks and a bag I keep clothes with. 4 things! This guy didn't take no for an answer. He starts calling and texting about how my car's paint is peeling. True, but the pics and description said so. And how dare I ask so much, $1,000, for such a piece of crap car. I started replying for a time, telling him he wasn't going to get the car, that I had other interested buyers, and so he didn't need to worry about it, etc. Then things got personal. This site gave you the option to link to Facebook so you could post it both places at the same time. So I had. I didn't have my privacy settings turned down as it was still early into Facebook's absolute reign, and I actually trusted them at the time. Silly me. I know, I hadn't anticipated that he would be able to find my info through the website's post, find my name, my location, pictures of my kid, my mother-in-law's obit, etc., but to my surprise, he did. He starts texting me about how I should be ashamed of myself for saying no to him, a muscular dude, and me being quite a round female. He included a picture in one text, and he wasn't the muscular built man he claimed to be. He looked like a beanpole with 2 ab muscles. So, WTF, dude? He asked me if I even knew everything about cars, or if I made the post while on my period, so I don't know what I was talking about. He texted me that I should be lucky I was already married, or else he would come to my house and show me how a real man handles a little bee. He got close, but didn't have an address, and the way my address pulls up on GPS, he would never be able to find my apartment, thankfully. Small side info, since I was in college at the time and needed a more flexible schedule, I worked as a school crossing guard. Every 2 weeks or so, we'd go in to sign our time cards in order to get paid. This crossing guard gig was a hire through my local PD. Not all crossing guard gigs are the same, but this one was. During one of these visits into the office, I was using my phone while waiting for my boss to get to me, my name being low in the alphabet. I hadn't yet blocked the dude, as it hadn't been long since this started, and I was hoping it would fizzle on its own. I didn't check my phone in class, choosing to turn it off to avoid ADHDing on it the entire day, and I was often flooded with several hours of texts all at once. When I saw my phone, it drove me over the cliff. He started texting me about pictures I had posted on Facebook about my 8 or 7-year-old son. He had just majorly crossed the line. The cleanest version of his texts include things like, Your kid is just as ugly as you are. I hope you don't plan on him leaving home and getting a wife anytime soon. And how a smudge of dirt on his face from a day at the zoo looked like I beat him. I didn't sell you a car, and you're taking out your rage by threatening to rape me and accusing me of beating my kid? Oh, hell no. Apparently, I was loud when I said what I did, because my boss stepped right over to me and asked what was wrong. Great person, 10 out of 10, would boss again. I told her that I was getting this abusive text from a rando that tried to buy my car. I told her I was about to erase the texts and block him, but then she goes, "No, don't do that. Let me see your phone." So happy I didn't delete them, because this next part still makes my heart sore. I offer, and she takes my phone, reading all the sick and vile things he texted to me. She tells me to wait until it's clear on the lobby side of things and the other crossing guards leave, so I do. She then tells me to follow her behind the security doors at the PD station, still having my phone. I don't know what's happening, but I liked her and trusted her, so I do. I follow her back into her office where she works on her computer, referring my phone on occasion. She asks if all I have is the phone number or if I got his name too. I tell her I only got his first name and scroll to the text where he introduced himself. A semi uncomfortable amount of time later, she hands back my phone. Something to mention is that my boss isn't just administrative. I didn't know it at the time, but she's a full on lieutenant in the local PD. She came up the ranks from patrol, moving to a position where she exclusively investigated child, elder, and disabled abuse complaints before moving into her current desk position. Needless to say, she didn't take people threatening harm to kids lightly. Because I hadn't blocked the number, I still had the text message with the dude's name, and she had used it to cross-search him and the phone number. Long story short, she knew exactly who he was. She says not to worry, but don't delete or respond to his texts anymore. She had it. If it got worse, I should call her or go to 911 as appropriate right away. Unconcerned and happy, she had the situation in hand. I leave and go to class. When I'm back to the office to sign my next time card 2 weeks later, I had several unread texts from the guy. I had filtered them so I didn't see them pop up and I hadn't read them. I had sold the car for full asking price and all but forgotten the entire situation. My boss tells me to wait for her again as she had something else for me to sign. I again return to her office. She briefly explains what she had for me, what an actionable complaint that she needed me to sign up for my issue 2 weeks ago. I remember everything all over again. She must see my face because she tells me not to worry and that she can tell what's going on more after I actually sign the form. So I do. Dear Reddit, this is the best situation anyone could have asked for. The phone number, tied to many people as the provider, was known for cheap cell service for those that were desperate for a way to contact people/services/unemployment. But with the name Matt, again, fake name, she was able to find out who was messing with me. She then got a driver's license, which led to an address, which led to a police report for possible domestic violence. Fall down the rabbit hole some more, and you find out that this dude had 5 kids by 4 women, and he was in arrests on his child support to them all. Hadn't been paying for over 10 years, and it was in the neighborhood of 30 to 50K. But he somehow, just 2 weeks ago, requests a title transfer for a new to him, quite fancy old car. I don't remember the kind, but think high-end car show and massive insurance premiums. Being so far in arrears meant that my boss was able to place a seizure order on the car so it could be sold to pay back the child support. One of the baby mamas live in a state where fleeing child support meant you could have a warrant issued for your arrest. When she called the interested parties in that state to see if they wanted her to execute the arrest warrant, they said yes with much haste. That was a funny turn of phrase, so I always remembered it. One conversation later, and my boss was able to determine that he was using the brother's social security number on his employment forms. That way he could avoid child support garnishments. This is all sorts of illegal, so she notified the guy's HR department so it could be corrected. They informed her that he would be fired for fraudulently submitting false documents. She then told me that about 4 days ago, she had executed the warrant on the dude for felony child abandonment, and the state he was held to was already en route to pick him up. It carried an 8 to 12-year sentence, and he still had to pay his back child support. I could have dealt with the comment, I could have dealt with the not taking no for an answer, even dealt with the cyber stalking a little. But when your twisted mind okays you to bring my child into the picture, you done crossed the line. If you would have stopped at no, you wouldn't be in jail right now. Kind of sounded like I was gonna cry there. I don't know what was going on, but I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry, okay? I'm not crying! TLDR, guy trying to buy my car makes a rude comment to me, so I won't sell to him. He can't take no for an answer, so he cyberstalks me and threatens my young child. Doesn't realize my boss is a lieutenant for the local PD, ends up getting a high-end car repoed for 50K-ish in back child support. He now has a felony record and is currently sitting in jail. Edit. Holy awards, Batman! Thank you so much. My boss really was the best. I cried when I left that job. She retired a few years back and I sent her a huge cake. She remembered me and called to thank me. She was fantastic and never gave me a reason to doubt her support. Edit 2. Platinum and gold? First time getting either. Holy crap, thank you. Our second story of the evening is by Fanatic Cake. It's 27 days old and it's titled, Bully My Brother? Guess you won't know who blew up the toilet. This is not my story, but from my educational advisor. One of the legit funniest people I have ever met. The other day, we're talking about our school times and the differences between being educators and being students, when he started telling this story. She used to be the model student, getting along with all the teachers and getting the best grades in her class. But there was one teacher that she could not get along with. It was her chemistry teacher, and she describes her as, all teachers have that breaking point where they just start screaming, but hers was incredibly easy to find. Until the point of the start of the story. She was just an unliked teacher and someone my advisor just dealt with. But one day, she reached her breaking point when her brother told me this teacher, which I'm going to be calling rude teacher, was calling him stupid and screaming at him for not knowing an answer she hadn't even explained properly yet. That was when she got involved in a plan, the famous toilet bomb. Because of the shared gender with the teacher, she knew where and when rude teacher would use the restroom. She had a strange routine with the exact time and stall she used to use. And because she was a model student, she could come and go without even being noticed, since no one would assume she was up to no good. Thing is, the whole class was in on it. Before she got involved with the plan, though, there was one single condition. No one would rat or blame someone else. No one was supposed to talk anything. She had a plan. And to the toilet the bomb went. My advisor went to the stall, installed the toilet bomb, and went back to class at the exact same time rude teacher had her restroom break. When she came back from doing the deed, she sits down at her desk and hears the explosion, followed by the rude teacher screaming bloody murder and coming back to the class to scream at them. The only classroom that was on break for teacher transition was my advisor's class, so rude teacher beelined straight to them and started demanding to know who did this. Of course, there's radio silence. She jumped in anger like a toddler, made all the threats she could legally, and made the biggest tantrum you could imagine, while being absolutely soaked in toilet water. Radio silence. The next logical step for the rude teacher was to call the principal that arrived at class with a box filled with pieces of paper. She explained that everyone was to write the name of someone involved with the toilet bomb and put there to be taken and read by her at the end of class. That was when my advisor stepped in. The second the principal was out of class, she told everyone to just write, "It was me," in capital letters and put the paper back in the box, which everyone did. When the principal came back and started looking at the papers in front of the class, she slowly turned from a normal color to a deep, fiery red and started throwing her own tantrum. Guess they found out her breaking point, and did the only thing she could do at that point. She suspended the whole class for 3 days. In the end, my advisor did everything. Blew up the toilet, led the class not to snitch on anyone, and earned 3 days at home without anyone suspecting anything. Edit. This didn't happen in the US, and it was almost 40 years ago. My counselor was 14, and she is now 52 years old. So I would appreciate it if you guys understand that older stories are not as clear and as detailed as recent ones. And I understand if it sounds unbelievable. Since it's not my story and I laughed a whole lot when my counselor told me, I thought it would be a nice one to share with y'all. Edit 2. Oh my god, this blew up more than the toilet. Thank you all for the rewards and the upvotes. And there you have it, homies. The end of the epics. If you like these stories, be sure to leave a like on the video, as well as make sure you're subscribed to my goofy ass, so you could hear me talk every single day, except the days I'm not uploading because I'm busy. As always, folks, it's been fun. My name's Ryan, the voice behind Reddit Voice, the official host here on the channel, uploading just about every single day, and I look forward to seeing you guys in tomorrow's video.